Alright, hey friends, it's Dee, and today is 314 Day. It's March 14th, aka Pi Day, and as you know, I live in St. Louis, Missouri, so our area code is 314, so it's 314 Day as a celebration of our city, and people really take this day seriously. And there was a Vogue article that came out 2 days ago that was all about the top favorite places, like an insider's guide to St. Louis. And after I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, I bet people here in the city would have so many awesome spaces, foods, people that we could add to this notion of like celebrating St. Louis. And so I posted this challenge super early this morning, just asking friends to either post on their Instagram and their Facebook about things that they love in St. Louis, so they could do like 3 places, 1 experience that they always love, and then 4 people that have made their experience here so awesome. And then I had levels to the challenge because, you know, I am who I am. And the next level of the challenge is all about making a video and answering these 14 questions that relate to each of our own experiences in St. Louis. And so I figured since I challenged everyone to do this, I might as well try to do it myself. So let's hop into it. So the first question asks, how long have you lived in St. Louis? And I actually moved here in 2006 for undergrad. I came here to study at WashU, and then I left for like 2 years, 2010 through 2012, and then I came back for grad school, and I've been here ever since. So on and off, it's been, what, 12 years almost, and it's been awesome, the entirety of it. So been here 12 years. Number 2, what neighborhood do I rep? So I live in this very tiny neighborhood called Tiffany, and sometimes it's called Tiffany Botanical Heights. It used to be an area called McCreetown before they split it and turned it into all of these other neighborhoods, and the Botanical Gardens is very close to where I live. I live right north of a popular neighborhood called Shaw, and you know, my little neighborhood is just like tucked in this little corner between St. Louis University's medical campus and the Botanical Gardens. So Tiffany Botanical Heights. Number 3 asks, how do I feel I contribute to the culture here? I could make a whole video answering this question. I feel like as an artist, as a creator, as an organizer, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's like deeply involved with civic leadership and thought leadership in the city, I contribute a lot through my ideas, through making ideas happen, through cultivating and curating experiences that just get people out of their norm and out of their day-to-day to engage with each other in creative ways. I think also, like, when I'm out and about, I try to bring joy. Like, I try not to go out into the city without, you know, looking cool, making sure that, like, you know, I'm hanging out with friends, I'm in my best mood, that I contribute to the vibes of wherever I am. So those would be some of the ways that I contribute to the culture here. Number 4, favorite spot to eat. Hands down, my favorite place here in St. Louis is a restaurant, cafe, bakery called Sweetheart. It's just so magical to me because everything on their menu is vegan and or, like, you know, strictly vegetarian. They have the best cupcakes that you could think of. A lot of them are vegan, which is so hard to come by. Rain and Kababi, the 2 owners, they're a married couple. Kababi is this really renowned painter here in St. Louis, and his wife is like one of my favorite chefs in the city. And so I think supporting them as a Black creative couple is part of what makes that space so magical to me. But the food is amazing. If you ever eat there, you gotta have their kale salad because they put some magic, some extra stuff in that kale dressing. So yeah, Sweetheart. Number 6, one person everyone should know in St. Louis. Oh man, there's a whole lot of folks that you just gotta know if you come to St. Louis. I feel like Travis Sheridan is hands down number 1, one of my top people. Like, if you don't know Travis, you ain't getting around. Darren Jackson, my good friend, Damon Davis, Basil Kincaid, a lot of artists, I would say, like Lola, Kat Reynolds. There are a lot of amazing folks that you gotta know. Elizabeth Tucker with the Live Magazine. Like, these are great people. Number 7, best experience or memory that I've had while living in St. Louis. Man, we make memories. I make memories every month, every day. I feel like what I love the most about this city is that, especially in the summertime, there's just an overabundance of things to do in the summertime. And so I think about the old, like, Live on the landing, or Live on the Levee. There used to be a concert series on the riverfront that was super cool. All of the concerts and parks and movie nights at Forest Park are always memorable. The festivals I really love, because you can go to so many festivals weekend after weekend in the summer and fall, and sometimes not even pay a dime during the experience. And so I love this city for all its free events. Number 8. What's one place that used to exist that you would bring back? Oh man. One of the places that I would have brought back actually just came back. It's called Hamburger Mary's, and they have awesome drag shows, and from what I remember, some really great bowls of chili. And so I'm glad that place is back. I don't know. What other places? There used to be a club in the Grove that I would bring back as well. Number 9, what do you do on the weekend? Oh my goodness, so there was a media company a few years ago that asked me to, like, take them through a day-to-day of my weekends. And my Saturdays are, like, really planned out, especially now that I live close to Tower Grove Park. I wake up on Saturdays in the spring and summer, and I go to yoga in the park first, and right adjacent to that is the Tower Grove Farmers Market. I leave that farmers market, and then I go to Soulard, and I shop at the Soulard Farmers Market. I usually get hungry by that time, and I go to either Bogart's for barbecue, or I'll go to Mission Taco that's out there and eat tacos. And then after I leave there, I go and get dressed, and then I just run errands. Usually by the end of the night, I'm somewhere on Cherokee Street, event hopping from Blank Space to 2720 to the Luminary. Like, that's usually my Saturday routine if I am in town. Number 10, if you told someone to meet me in St. Louis, where would you take them? I would take them to City Garden. I would make every person's introduction to St. Louis, like, playful. We would go to City Garden and meet there, get our knees hurt on all of those sliding boards and climbing machines, and then I would take them to the riverfront and or the graffiti wall on the river, maybe go to the arch if it's open and we could go to the top. Then I would take them to, like, some of my favorite restaurants in the city. Number 11. What's the most underrated thing about the city? So I think people give St. Louis a bad rap because we've had so many social challenges, and we still have so many social challenges. And segregation, racism, classism, the way that police and civic leaders treat our homelessness, like, those are all humongous issues that we are working on. And I feel like the underrated part of that is the power of the people. I feel like St. Louis, of all places in the nation and maybe in the world, I feel like we have so much heart, so much resilience, and the people here are unstoppable. And I don't think we should ever take that for granted. Number 12, what keeps me living here? You know, part of that's the people. Part of that is that, like, I feel like this has become home, and I'm kind of loyal to it now. I'm not saying that I wouldn't ever leave, because I've thought about that too, but I think what keeps me here is the support system. St. Louis has a vibe about it that I really love, that I've cherished, that I really value, and I'm grateful for. And I think that sense of connectedness with the city is something that keeps me here. It's also very cheap to live here, and so my living expenses keep me here as well. Number 13, if I could envision one thing to make St. Louis better in the future, what would it be? I think, like I said on a previous question, I would make racial equity #1, that every institution, every school, every public space, every restaurant has to like live and practice being better to humans. I think we're a city that has allowed race, class, and our differences to divide us for so long, and that would be the thing that I would hope we would get to a point of changing. And then number 14, who else do I think people should hear from with this challenge? So I'm gonna tag 3 people. 1, Cami Cruz Thompson. 2, Darren Jackson. 3, Tim Hikes, and maybe he'll do it on our D and Tim channel. Those are my top 3 people: Tim, Darren, Cami. Alright, so that's all. Those were all of the questions. Let me know, what other things do you want to know about the city of St. Louis? And if you want to do this challenge as well, there are different levels to it, like I said, and I'll link below in the description the different directions for showing your love to St. Louis on this day and beyond. Of course, as always, like this video if you thought it was cool, if you thought it was helpful, if you learned a little bit more about St. Louis. Subscribe to this channel to stay tuned for other videos and segments and topics that I'll talk about. And then, of course, share with a friend. Let's keep showing love to the city.